Change your water, change your wife.
Yeah, because
Change your wife.
seriously, it's, yeah.
I think you heard wrong.
Change your-
I think you heard wrong.
Did I?
You gotta love Chris. You gotta love Chris. He just catches all these little few moments.
Oh, I wish my mind worked like his.
It's
Oh my
like,
goodness.
we're also. I'm just being serious. You
So it
know?
does take different, yeah.
I got this out this morning, but it's even better if it's direct from the source.
Yeah.
Here.
Thank you.
Pretty set up there.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Kangen is
Okay,
Japanese.
Kangen is Japanese, exactly. Okay. So it means, Kangen means return to, let's start from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Is it ready? Are we starting?
We're starting.
Oh, okay. Hi, everybody. Good. Having this chance to introduce this water, which it says up there, change your water, change your life. And this presentation is going to show you how this happens. It says here, Kangen, return to origin. All right. Kangen, return to origin. That's the meaning. Return to what origin? Return to the origin of how we were made perfect. Because seriously, this body is so wonderfully made that it restores and regenerates. But the question is how? Because in our environment right now, that's not the case, right? So we have moved from unless you're living by a glacial lake or a natural spring or some kind of uncontaminated source of water and food, you're basically in danger of inhaling, absorbing, ingesting all sorts of things that have been basically manipulated and recreated, from its natural source. So this is what we're talking about, return to origin. Okay, go ahead. So here we go. Our body is 70% water, right, everybody? Yeah, okay. So if we're 70% water, then you have to understand where is all this going. That your brain actually uses like 75%. It's only 20% of your physiology here, but it's 75%. And look at all the other parts. This is what consumes and needs water, right? But and here you see all the different things that water does for you. Okay, super important, right? Just looking at this, you realize, oh my God, water does all that? Okay, awesome. So then we go on. All right. So then the question is, if you are 70% water or more, then we're also preoccupied with the solid part, right? We're concerned whether it's gluten, whether it's, it's keto, whether it's organic, with vegan. Oh gosh, the whole world's just consumed with this preoccupation of food. Okay? So we are what we eat, but we are also what we drink. So here we go. People just go, yeah, but it's only water. Question is it? Right? Is it? Not all water is created equal. So the question we should be asking is, what is your source of water? Because the other question is coffee water? Is beer water? So these are liquids, but are they really hydrating? So there is a difference now between water hydration and liquid intake. So number one, not all water is the same. And number two, not all liquids hydrate. Right? Not all water is the same and not all liquids hydrate. And here we're talking about hydration. Okay? So this brings us to the question of quality. Like we go after the best food source, right? If you want to buy chicken, you want to have those free-range chickens, you don't want to have those cows that are steroid pumped. And okay, so we know about foods, but have we considered water? Okay, so we know the best waters in the world on the Hansa region, right? People are living till 120, 140, and the source of it is the water. So as in these other places, they were called miracle water, right? Holy water. There's all these different places in the world. Till the scientists went over there and they took all these different waters and tested them, right? Basic thing. You find somebody having the keys of longevity, fountain of youth, you want to find out, so what is it that you're eating or you're drinking that's giving you all this good stuff? So, okay, so they go there and they find that the common denominator for all these waters is, number one, it's alive. What do you mean by that? It has a charge, and it has active hydrogen.
Mhm.
Okay, so they find out there is something in all these miracle water sources, and this is what it is. Lightning strikes, there's a charge, it's running down glaciers, and under the ground there are these things called aquifers, and they all give a charge. We know that when we go to the beach and we kick our rubbers off, we get grounding, right? There's a frequency that we get aligned with, and we balance ourselves up. Whereas we're sitting in a room all day with EMFs, from our microwave, from our computers and all these things, they are disrupting our frequency. So then we go out in nature and we get aligned, right? So it's the same with this water that's coming out into these holy water places is charged up. So it has the power to be able to give you the right high frequency that your body needs. Okay. So then the question is, so which water is in your cells? What really is getting into that body of yours, right? Tap water, bottled water, distilled, reverse osmosis. And by the way, talking about reverse osmosis, it's also called hungry water, right? Because you drink this reverse osmosis, which is depleted, cleared out of any minerals, because it's supposed to be the perfectly clean water, okay? So this perfectly clean water doesn't just take out the dirt and the stuff, it takes out all the minerals as well. So then it goes into your body and it leaches, and it's trying to get the calcium and the minerals, it's trying to go into your body, and it meets all this stuff. So what's technically happening in that body is you're actually going to degenerate drinking that water, right? And of course, we all know about bottled water. Bottled water, the plastics leach oestrogens. Estrogen is the stuff that is our female hormone, and they have actually done scientific studies where frogs, drinking this water, plastic bottled waters, have actually become like male frogs trying to mate with male frogs. It sort of changed their system, so then you ask questions, right? A whole bunch of people drinking plastic water, plastic bottled waters, where's that estrogens, I mean, I'm talking about, we're talking about a whole new scenario, so we won't discuss more of that. But anyway, but plastics also, you see the beaches, the beaches and the plastic bottles that are there, and the animals, the sea creatures that are being hurt by that. Okay, so we won't get into that, but we all know all that. So, okay, and of course the government and tap water, we know that too, right? So, okay, so what brings about degenerative disease, breakdown of the body, sickness, disease? What are these issues that we're talking about? So going bottom line, we're talking about this, chronic dehydration. Not many people address this because it's almost like a silent killer. You don't realize that what you're drinking, my husband for years was basically wake up in the morning was coffee, and then hardly really drink, and then maybe have the bottled water at lunch, and then it was like he likes his soda with a bit of lemon. Soda water was supposed to be okay, refreshing. It's not as bad as Coca-Cola or Sprite, but it's soda water because it's clear. Okay, so, and then it was beer. That was the liquid intake, the sum total of his liquid intake. There was hardly any water. Why? Because it's water, and also because maybe lunch I had some water, but that was it. So why? Next thing is, the guy has inflammation, pain here, and he says, oh, it's just degenerated, it's normal. So it's not normal. So what happens is when he gets hydrated, we see the difference, okay? So chronic dehydration, because it is not intracellular hydration, it's extracellular, or it's called interstitial celluration, between cells, not in the cells. Next, we have decreased cellular voltage. Not many people, again, know this or talk about this, but we are an electrical being. We measure EEG with our brain. We measure EKG, right? These are all signals. Every part of the body has got these signals. Because we are electrical beings. So being an electrical cell, as you know with your phone, the cell phone, what do you have to do? You have to charge it. Okay, so where's the wire? How do we charge this body? And that's the question, right? Okay, now runners will tell you, okay, we have some glucose, sugar, right? Starch, carbs, right? But really, is it that when we're 70% water? So then question yourself, what's it got to do with it? So electrolyzed, solution electrolyzed, live, charged, reduced water, because it goes right in hand with this. Next, we have oxidation. This is, in other words, rusting out. We are rusting out all the time. We're going to show you a demonstration later on which shows you how the things that you drink, if they are oxidizing, rusting you out, or it's anti-oxidizing, antioxidants. The world's really preoccupied with that, right? We're supposed to eat more berries, more broccoli, more fresh salads, more of everything to give you that antioxidants. So here we have oxidation, another issue. And last but not least is acidosis. And this is the problem of having an acidic environment. Okay? Because what happens with that, as you will see later on, is that when the body is too acidic, it affects everything. It affects every cell. It affects the breakdown. Okay, let's go ahead. And okay, so what is hydration? Okay, so like mentioned there, hydration is not just about drinking enough water. As you mentioned, you were drinking like liters of water and still the pee was turning out as yellow and there wasn't any real change. So then your question is, what am I really drinking? Besides, I'm drinking, but I'm not hydrating. There's a big difference, right? So is it about drinking enough water during the day? But the question is more specifically getting water inside your cells. That's what we want. Like a picture I have is whether you're a whole bunch of raisins, 50 trillion of them, 50 trillion dried up raisins, or you've got 50 trillion grapes. And the thing about these raisins, they're not just raisins, but they have acidic waste in them, because everything you do, whether you're thinking, you're talking, you're moving, every waking moment, you're burning energy. And like the bike and the car, right? If you're burning, there must be an exhaust. And what's in the exhaust? Where does it go? Right? If you're not detoxing, this waste, this exhaust is in your cells. So imagine 50 trillion cells with all that waste. So that's why people go on fast and they detox and they try to do things to be able to cleanse, right? So we're going to show you a way to make that easy peasy. Not striving to have to detox, but just daily hydrating properly, because if this water is really going into the cells, automatically it will displace what's in the cells, right? So if acidic waste is in the cell and the cell is getting hydrated, then obviously this waste is going to come out automatically, right? So here we go. With age, your body tends to lose its ability to get water from the vasculature, the extracellular environment, to the inside of your cells. Now that is if you're drinking normal water. So normal water goes into the extracellular and your body somehow will try to get it into the cells. Okay, all fine and dandy, but till you get older and that ability to move that water from the extracellular into the cells starts waning. You start having a problem doing that. Okay, so yeah. So actually, basically, yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Can you play this? That's fine.
Okay, there we go. All right, here we go. How do we get voltage into our
Okay, let's
cells?
stop.
This is one of the basic things that I like
Let
people
me
to.
introduce this a little bit. You want to just use my headphone, my speaker? Oh, you
No,
want to
I-
set it up? Okay. So this is Dr. Corinne Allen. She runs an incredible center for brain-body development. She works a lot with everybody from cerebral palsy to she had a case video where she actually had somebody from China come who really couldn't walk, just basically was just pushing himself along the floor and stuff like that. Couldn't walk, couldn't function. and she works with brain signaling, you know. And now she also explained that 37% of her whole modality, besides what she does with the brain, with neurofeedback, with different things that she does, 37% is based on hydration. She said, I can't get the signaling, perfected if I don't have these people hydrating. And this is what she's talking about for a full total things. And here she's going to be explaining about cellular voltage. So I'm going to let her do that. So can we play the video?
Okay, there we go. Right, here we go. How do we get voltage into our cells? This is one of the basic things that I like people to get to know and to understand, because people say, well, I'm taking all these vitamins or drinking this water and I'm doing all this, but what is really, if you don't raise the electromagnetic field in your cells, you're not going to have health. So most humans operate best in their pH of their bodies of 7.35 to 7.4, which is also indicated as a voltage range in your body of minus 20 millivolts to minus 25. And this is where your cells can heal. If they're not there, the body cannot heal. So we need to make new cells. Now, making the new cells, we have to go to minus 15 millivolts. This is considered healing voltage. Guys, this is quantum that I'm teaching you. This is energy. This is how we run our programs. This is how I run my individual programs. And this is how I choose products. This is why I'm so particular about everything that I have and everything I put in the body. If we have below 0 megavolts, we change the polarity, and all cancer occurs at plus 30 millivolts. So vibration is...
Okay, so sorry, she goes on. You can find more of this also. I can give you a link later on about this.
Okay, there we go. Right, here we go.
In order to switch it to the next one, for some reason I don't know how to manage this on my phone yet.
Okay.
But okay.
Okay, here we go. So how do we measure these volts? How do we measure these things, So I'm going to show you a little experiment later, but should I do it now?
I think that you should explain this first. Yesterday, I believe that it would have been better if we explained this first and then show them the experiment.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a meter. We have a device that actually we can put it in water or put it in different things, and it will show us the oxidation reduction potential. That means how fast or how slowly it oxidizes. Okay. So when you do it with soda or these carbonated drinks, it will be this way. It's positive. That means as you consume it, it will positively oxidize you. It will very quickly. That means the higher we go, the faster you oxidize. You rust out. Okay? So we get it that it's positive, that it's not good. Okay? Going towards more rusting, more aging, more disease. But if it is negatively charged, it does exactly the opposite. So here you'll see soda, you'll even see proper water, distilled RO water, and we're going to do a demonstration later on to actually show you the ones that we've bought from the shops, plus your water actually, we should do that. And then on this side you'll see green tea, right? We should all drink green tea. I personally don't like it, but yeah. So there's green tea, which is a negative 100. Then we have vitamin C, we have cod liver oil, all these things. And then you get it from the machine, all right? Now you get it from the machine, actually directly from the source of the machine. We'll show you later on, you'll see a negative 750, or 800. It's pretty high. So here we go. So what you drank there was basically negatively charged water that goes into it, all right? And antioxidants.
So I'm going to pause it. Is that good?
Oh, you do it now?
Yeah,
okay.
Because that's the explanation. There you go. You're on.
Okay, so we've done the demo, and we'll have to upload that separately. But in that demo, we saw that Sprite registered an ORP around 700, and then the nice
we'll put it together.
Waters, all these things, all these bottled waters that were being marketed at your local 7-Eleven or even getting delivered to your house were all around 500. This is very modest. You know, actually, I find it very different because in Bangkok, my tap water is like 330. Yours is 500 plus.
Our tap
And-
water is 600.
And
almost.
also, I've done this test with waters in Bangkok, you know, and they would register around here. I've never actually seen them so bad
Yeah.
as here.
Ours.
You know, there must be something with your water because a lot affects it too is the storage of water. It's been stored. You don't know how long it's been stored. You know, on everything else like food, you have expiry dates. There's no expiry date on water. You know, so it's produced and it's kept in the warehouse and it's kept in the stores. And you see, like in a lot of places, it's outside Lotus. It's in the heat. It's just outside. It's just displayed, right? So heat on plastic, bam, lethal combination.
When we shower with tap water, the skin just itches. And I mean, I broke the skin the other day,
Yeah.
just scratching from the itching. There's no filter on
Because
it.
we don't have,
We don't have a water
Exactly.
and
filter.
we don't
Exactly.
have, those big yellow
Yes.
storage things.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
So
it's
you
just-
can see because you have pores, right? You have
Yeah.
openings here, so it's really getting in, like
It
you know,
really bites.
right? Because when I fast, it's like it's also important when I get a shower. You know, I'm feeling actually like water coming in. So you know, can you imagine showering with that water? We actually have a slide there on chlorine later on. We'll show you. But let's go on because there's a lot to cover. Okay, so we were talking a little bit about negative voltage, so you understand. And this is a very interesting book if you get to read it. It's by Dr. Jerry Tennant. He was an ophthalmologist, and as he was doing a laser surgery on somebody's eye for something or other, he got a virus that resulted in him having encephalitis,
Mhm.
which means that he was paralyzed for 7 years. But he knew there must be a way out of this. He couldn't accept it. And so he went on a research, and then he came across this. He says, as I began to realize that the body had to have energy, the other big change in my paradigm was when I finally understood that the body is constantly wearing itself out and having to make new cells. You get new cones in the macula of your eye every 18 hours. The lining of your gut is replaced every 3 days. The skin that you and I are sitting in today, only 6 weeks. So then he goes on, okay, your body's regenerating. Okay, then the question, therefore, is like, how does it regenerate? Okay, so to put in to summarize it, it talks about the battery system. We have different batteries to recharge ourselves, and then he talks about the muscle, right? Movement and things like that will help your muscle battery. Then he talks about the cell capacitator. You know, your cells will also regenerate. You know, and it's a battery system. Then he talks about, of course, ATP, the mitochondria, how it gives you the energy, the DNA. Then he adds one more thing, structured water, number 5. You know, so how important is this? And it's structured water. So here again, we come to the difference of liquids and water. And then electrolyzed reduced water, because it has to be water that actually goes in to hydrate you. Doesn't work if it goes in the other way. Okay, you can just go there and skip the next one. Skip that one. Okay, here we go. So here we go to the formation of free radicals and oxidative cells. This was the point that we made in the beginning about this is one of the causes of a degenerative disease or breakdown of the body. So we understand this. Oxidation is a rusting out, right? And this is what happens when you have free radicals that is not addressed. You know, this is the breakdown that happens. So free radicals are basically these atoms running around without any electrons. So they're only protons, so they're not partnered. So what they do is they have to go all over the body, scavenging and looking for its mate, right? Looking for something to work. Something has to neutralize it. And because it doesn't, it's always scavenging in the body and affecting you. And external sources would be your air pollution, alcoholic drinks, oxidative food, you know, food contaminants. I mean, the list is, you know what it is, right? A lot of it. So all this will show you how it affects you. But something that people don't really see is the effect of this. Microwaves, EMFs, because there's all this electromagnetic frequency. Because you're an electric being, therefore you have frequencies. Therefore it can get disrupted if you're in the wrong environment. That's why some of our autistic kids, they have an issue when they're in shopping centers or in certain places, and if there is a router or if there's a strong magnetic frequency. They can't express it, but it's affecting them silently, and they get very uncomfortable and they start, reacting. So that's the thing, electromagnetic waves they do have a presence and they do affect us. Okay, so this is Dr. Hiromi Shinya, and he is the guy who co-invented colonoscopy. So he has written a few books, and he has outrightly stated that Kangen water is what he uses in his clinics, and it's part of his modality. In other words, his patients have to be drinking this before, during, after the whole treatment. And he records that there is no recurring cases of cancer or anything like that. He absolutely states, and if you know in the US where you can be sued for everything and anything that you say, as a professional, he has outrightly put this out and he hasn't been challenged at all. So this is quite a statement that it is alkaline rich and is considered the very best drinking water because of the incomparable powers of hydration, detoxification, and oxidation. It goes together, like I mentioned. If that water is able to go into your cells, automatically there must be a detoxification. It must happen, right? Okay, so he's not alone. There's been a whole slew of other books and other professionals that have talked about this water. They have tested it with patients, they have tested it themselves, and this is what it is. As we were saying with the ORP, you can choose 1 glass of water, or you can have 20 glasses of green tea per day. Or you can have 5 pounds of blueberries, 12 pounds of broccoli. Okay, like this is what, can you really eat enough to be able to antioxidize and neutralize your free radicals? How much easier, instead of changing your whole lifestyle and becoming vegan and giving up your favorite steak and your ribs and all these things, how much easier to just flush, to have that drinking water that gives you the antioxidants, right? And then here we have an experiment to show nails. These are nails that are in there within just 3 days, 4 days. This is what happens, and what will totally rust them out. So that is that one. Okay, we can go on. Okay, so we talked about electrolysis, and we talked about the break of the molecules, the water molecules, and it releases hydrogen, diatomic hydrogen, very small molecular hydrogen, the smallest. You can see, compared to all these other, the atoms, the sizes, you can see how small molecular hydrogen is, right? Plus the fact that when you eat broccoli or when you consume anything else, there is a process to break it down, right? Anything in your body that has a process to break it down means that it has to, it's a process. That means it will leave some free radicals. So as much as you want to get rid of free radicals, you're still releasing some free radicals. But water, there's no process. It just goes in and it goes into your cells. Broccoli still has to be processed. So the berries, they all have to be processed. Okay, so here we go. So it is able also to penetrate the blood-brain barrier, and that's what we're talking about. We're talking about something that can get past the blood-brain barrier into the brain cells to be able to improve the nervous system, which affects movement, which affects everything else. So once we can get the signaling, and we can get the signals running freely, then we make a difference in the body, all right? So this is what happens with your circulation. Like, we actually have a video. I don't think we're able to upload it yet, but we actually have a video which shows a guy who pricked his finger, like upon waking up, and then he puts it under a microscope, and you see that all the blood cells are clumped up. Very thick blood cells, viscosity. And the thing is, because of that, there's hardly any circulation. Right? But that happens because you've been sleeping for 8 hours and you haven't drunk anything, so it's very sticky, right? Then he does it 10 minutes after drinking coffee. Is there a difference? Hardly. Still very clumpy cells. Then he drinks a bottle of Dasani, right? American water, right? Like our water here. Is there any difference? Very slight. There's hardly anything. And finally, the final thing is, remember, he's doing all this live. He's putting all these things under the microscope. Finally, he drinks Kangen, and it's breaking up. It's moving. Why? Because this halo around this is hydrogen, and hydrogen automatically bounces it off. So it has to move. And this is a silent killer, because have you heard of football players that just collapse and have a heart attack? Have you had friends who suddenly have a stroke and they look pretty fit, or brain aneurysm, right? As we were talking yesterday, it's like people just collapse and you think, oh, it's a sudden disease. It's not sudden, it's accumulated. This is accumulated. It gets to a point where every part, every artery has got clumped up cells. And the next thing you know, you just finito, it's like, and why? Because it's not circulating, okay? Yeah, this was the video, but go ahead.
Hold on. I'm trying. It didn't let me. Hold on.
Jordan, are you listening? Pay attention to this.
Good boy.
He says, I eat broccoli.
Okay, so we were talking about circulation, and why is that important? Because better circulation means a better oxygenated system, right? Because the oxygen that sticks to the hemoglobin is able to move and go to where it's needed. And why is that important? Like it says about the coronavirus, it does not cause disease, but rather it seeks out an environment where it can thrive best, and that is in an oxygen-deprived body. Okay, that's important to understand. Immune systems in a severely
Weakened state.
That's right. And this is a good example. It's no different from the way mosquitoes seek out stagnant water. So as mosquitoes seek out that kind of water, so do your pathogens, the bacteria, virus. So if you actually had a well-oxygenated alkaline environment where you've got your oxygen flowing, you've got your blood circulating, nothing affects you. It will not live in that kind of environment, right? So a sufficiently oxygenated body is uninhabitable by disease. Okay, bam. So that's why a highly oxygenated body is not only immune to disease, but it also destroys disease and things that already exist in the body, right? So it also affects voltage, as we were talking earlier. All right, so go on. Right, so this is the issue when you don't have that. This is all that you can be subject to with acidic waste. When that acidic waste is in every cell, it actually starts running your body and breaking it down. So you can identify with anything, including dementia, including the brain disorders. Okay, go ahead. So here we all know how the foods affect us, right? We know too much sugar, we know all these things, heavy meats and stuff like that. Okay, all this, it affects us this way. But similarly, so does an environment caused by your 70%. Your 70% environment. And as we saw in our pH scale, you saw where our water was on the scale, and you saw where Sprite was, you saw where drinking water was, and yeah, you saw this and it looked good, but again the question was, how did it get there? What is the source? Because I could put baking soda in the water and it would do the same thing. But is that going to be assimilated in your body? That's the question. Is it actually bioavailable? Will it actually hydrate the cells? That's the question. Here we go. So this is an important quote. This is a guy who won the Nobel Prize. Okay, Dr. Odo, he actually said, there's only two things about cancer. Acidosis, hypoxia. Those two things. An environment which is extremely acidic and one which is oxygen deprived. Right, as we saw earlier. You take care of these two issues and you won't be susceptible. All right, so he's not alone. You've got Dr. Barodi, you've got Thomas Rao, you've got a slew of people. This is just a sampling of what some people have said about an acidic environment and why that needs to change for you to have optimal health. Okay? All right, so now we come a little bit to the machine, right? How does it work? Now in this particular machine that you see, there are 7 titanium plates. They are medical grade plates, but they are coated with platinum. Now that's important to understand because there's a whole bunch of China-made, Korean-made, others type of ionizers out there. They say, yeah, we have titanium plates too and all the rest of it. But this is the question. This is metals. You're talking about minerals on metal. And what can happen is corrosion. So after 6 months, after 1 year of usage, you also can have metal poisoning. So this is why our plates, these plates, have to be plated over with platinum, white gold, because that provides the protection that it needs against any sort of corrosion. And on top of that, this particular range of machines, they actually have self-maintenance where we give you citric acid and it actually cleans the plates. Like a car, you need to have maintenance. So this is the engine for which it works, and these are the plates. Now we have another model which is 8 plates. The greater the area, the more hydrogen is produced. Okay, so there's a little bit of difference. We can talk about the machines later, but this is essentially the science of what's happening. There's a cathode, there's an anode. Electrolysis hits the plates. It breaks the molecules so that the oxygen goes towards the anode, the hydrogen goes towards the cathode, and that's why you see on that machine we have 2 hoses, right? One hose gives the alkaline to the cathode, and then the other one gives other waters to the anode. All right? Okay, go ahead. Okay, so the machine produces 7 different types of waters. And we're going to go through a little introduction as to what the waters do. So it gives us from the bottom 2.5, this is also known as hypochlorous acid, and this we use for sanitizing. 5.5, the reason for all this is, just to explain, is because the whole pH system is 14. So when you get 2.5 here, on this side you will get 11.5, right? Because it makes the whole range of 14. So when you get 9.5, you will get 4.5, right? You'll always get 14, the whole range. So what is it for? So nothing goes to waste, right? As you notice, we have the 2 hoses and we have 2 ways to collect the water. Everything is for something. The 5.5, the 4.5 to the 6 is used for, this is your skin pH. So that water is excellent for showering, for bathing, for washing your face, for mouth when you're brushing your teeth, for all these different things. It's a moisturizer. I don't need to buy any more moisturizer because every morning I soak my face in it and I'm able to clean it. It's even a good conditioner. It's so useful. And I use it for my plants because that's perfect for the plants as well. So 7.0 is your neutral water. We don't advise you drinking like alkaline with food because it's highly alkaline. But this is normal water if you have to drink it. Also, this water is used if you have to take medication, because as you notice in our muscle testing demo, this water is rapidly hydrating, which means that if you had medication is on time release, correct? Now, if you took medication with this water, it would go straight into your cells. And that's not the purpose of the medication. A lot of medication is time release. It has to be done slowly. So we would advise people, if you're on medication, take it with 7.0, right? And also for baby formulas, because babies are already perfect, and we don't want to add more to it. So that's where they are. Then we have 8.5, 9.0, 9.5. This is all water for drinking or making soups or different things like that. And when we start people off with this water, we usually start them off on 8.5 because we don't know the body and how much it needs to detox. So the faster it goes in and the more it creates, the more detox. And to start somebody off here might be too soon. So we do a gradual 8.5, 9.0, 9.5. And then over here, 11.5. We should show the experiment, or is it here?
We can do it at the end of when we finish up. Yeah.
Okay, so at the end of this, we will show you a little bit of what 11.5, the property of 11.5, and what it does, sodium hydroxide. Okay, go on. Okay, so what it does is here, just in short, it removes agricultural chemicals on your food and more. So it's basically a pesticide cleaner because this particular water has the property of stripping oil. It can degrease, it can cut and break oil. We will show you that experiment a bit. Then this is for drinking, cooking, anti-aging. Then there's clean water for the baby, taking medication, beauty water for the skin, as we said. And then the strong acidic kills virus, bacteria, sterilizing, sanitizing. Okay. Okay, so here is the 2.5. Like I soak our chicken, our meats, and stuff like that in that water first to kill any bacteria. Great for restaurants, great for cooking. You know, no fears of salmonella, E. coli, all that kind of stuff. And of course, anything. So I have, yeah, we'll see later on, but I've got people who been, like all their life, they've been very allergic to like laundry soap. So instead of that now, they actually can use this waters to be able to, you know, clean themselves. 11.5 actually, not 2.5, but yeah, these are some of the things. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, this is a very interesting, this is my dogs. So my dogs had a fight. Okay, so here we go. It was severely bleeding. It wasn't like in a case that it was so much blood that I couldn't like take it and bring it to the car. It would bleed all over. So I used 2.5. So I just sprayed for about 8 minutes, just straight, constantly sprayed, put cotton, and then you can see here, just using 2.5, in about 8-10 minutes, the bleeding stopped completely. And then when she went to the vet, she needed 20 stitches. Even the vet was surprised that when she came, it wasn't bleeding, that they could work on it. So it's sterilizing, it stops bleeding. So now in the kitchen too, I had a cut recently and it just sprayed 2.5 stops. Right? So it's amazing. I carry it in my handbag because you never know your situations. I mean, it's a great sterilizer instead of having to buy this sanitizing alcohol, which is like 62%. And but you know, it's a great. We have it here, and it's free flowing. I don't have to keep buying, you know. And plus, it's safe. Like, can you imagine gargling with Dettol? You can't, but you can gargle with this. You know, you can do anything with this because, and it's Dettol is not even safe for your eyes, but with a sty, somebody with a sty knife, they can actually put 2.5, and that sty will go down because it's antimicrobial. So in other words, antibacterial. So it's incredible to have this free flowing. So I say like I have a pharmacy all in one. I have a drinking station, I have a pharmacy, I've got it all here. Okay. Okay, here you can see this is an outside lab. These are outside lab tests to test the effects of Kangen water on various organisms. And you can see this is the Kangen test, and this is testing with other sanitizers, other sterilizing agents, and where they are able to actually kill or not kill. So, you know, whether it is, let's say, bread mold, I mean, all sorts of things, fungus, athlete food fungus, E. coli, you know, one of the things here. Yeah, viruses, salmonella, what it does, you know, what it can do. Okay, yeah, go ahead. So here, Susan, like here you can see psoriasis, really bad case. And after drinking water plus the outside, so it's in and out. It's not just spraying, but it's getting her hydrated, you know, well, and then also doing the external, which is 2.5, right? And people who've had, different issues. This actually comes from Dr. Shinya's book, where he shows the cologne, you know, the before, during, after, and what the water, this person's just drinking this water and he's just flushing it also with this water. His surgery, he's using this water. Okay. Okay, here's a good testimony. Go ahead.
Session flow for 3 weeks, and then you will have a third cycle of 1 week. And then also I will have migraine, I have menstruation cramp, and then I'm bleeding a lot. So from 2010 to 2012, I seek medical help, but the problem is the doctor couldn't help me. So the last straw is to ask me to remove my womb. But the problem is removing my womb, right? I Google, it's quite scary. I have to take hormone pills for life. and then there are some complications also. Okay, so
Hey, can you stop that?
because
I don't know if you can hear well. So the point was, okay, she has menstrual problems, blood clots, and migraines. Those are the issues. The doctors they came to a conclusion that they have to remove her womb. Okay, so this is where she's at. So the doctors had no other conclusion except let's just do surgery, remove your womb.
we asked my care group to pray for me. And it happened that someone in the care group has a Kangen machine. So he actually tell me, why don't you try? This water could be able to help you. So actually I tried the water for about 2 weeks. I can see a lot of difference. Especially people like me, I have a lot of blood clot. When I try the water during my menstruation, I can see that the clot is reduced by almost 70%. The size of the clot. So I was very amazed, and then I start to find out more about why this water is so special. So I actually was amazed by the certification, the ISO 13485, because my background is in beauty. So certification to me is something very important.
Okay, can you
And
stop
also the JAPA cert.
Okay, so she said she started researching into the machine and she found out that it's an ISO 13485. This ISO certificate from Germany is given for things that are medical devices. In other words, to get that kind of certification, you have to prove that this is a medical device that does what it says. Then you can get that kind of certification. So we have that certification there from Germany, but then she talks about the JAPA. This is the Japanese Association of Preventative Medicine, and it's made up of 8,000 doctors. It took 6 years to get this certification because every doctor has to sign. At that time it was 6,500 doctors, but you have to sign on this that you have tested the water and that it is truly a preventative medicine item, right? A device. So that's what she's talking about. Okay, but let's go to go ahead and then see her conclusion.
The JAPA cert, if you don't understand, you ask the one who invited you to explain to you what is the JAPA cert. Okay, it's the highest standard certification in Japan. And then I actually bought the machine after trying the water on the 3rd week because I can see a lot of improvement. And then I did not remove my lymph till today. And I told you my condition is I will have a lot of clot and migraine, right? But to my surprise, I didn't know that it can actually help on my migraine. So I'm actually migraine free after 2 months of drinking this water. And for me, my migraine is very severe. I need to take up to 8 painkillers per day. So can you imagine? My body is so toxic. I have so many drugs in my body. Actually, I'm very nervous. Can you hear me? Can. Okay, so actually, I didn't know about the business, okay? During
I
that
think
few
Yeah,
years
okay,
of
we
we'll
can
stop
stop
right-
that.
yeah, okay.
So essentially you see what happened. The 2 issues were blood clots and migraines, and after 2 weeks, and the other one took a little bit longer, but slowly and surely this is what happened. Okay, go ahead.
For some reason,
menstruation.
Okay, let's go on.
okay, yeah, when I play a video, there we go.
Okay,
Okay.
so here we go. So we were talking about 11.5 and its ability to emulsify oil. Okay, should we do that now?
We can do it at the end.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, just go on then. All right.
Pesticide.
Okay, so you know that, pesticides, let's put it this way. You know that pesticides, are they oil-based or water-based?
Oil.
Oil-based,
So
right?
they
Because
stick.
the farmer is, exactly, so the farmer's not going out there every time after it rains to put more pesticides. So it is oil-based. So the thing is, if we just wash them in water, it's not going to just come off, right? You've got to add something to it. Now, before this, I used to wash it with baking soda and stuff like that. But now, knowing what I know and having tested it, this is what we're going to demonstrate to you later on. You can see that in 11.5 truly can break oil, So can we show this or not? Can we play this?
Oh, this is not a video.
It's not a video?
Is it?
Yeah, it is. It should be a video.
It's not playing.
Oh, maybe it's not video. Okay,
I think
so,
it's a slide. It's a picture.
oh, how did I do that? Okay, so anyway, so in this particular experiment, just to give it to you, he has tap water, Kangen water, Kangen water, and so what he does is he puts the tap water, and his conclusion is the tap water comes out clear with the rice, and then with the Kangen water, it comes out murky. So which one's more effective, right? It's definitely clearing something out of the rice, right? And so then he does it with tomatoes, and again, like you're able to see a little bit of the oil floating on the top of this one, where this one's pretty clear.
But you actually have this on your phone, right?
Yeah, I actually have it on my
Yeah, we can show it to them.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, and here, this is the experiment we will show you later. Okay, so here, it's a 46-year-old company. So when it started, it was in a lot of different hospitals. Okay, we can go on. And these are all the ISO certifications. They've got a lot of certifications, including the American Water Quality Gold Standard, which is essential because it is the only water ionizer in the States. Because in the States, everybody like Thai, a lot of companies say, we're certified, but the problem is what they're certified for. That's what you have to read the small print. They've got some parts of the machine certified, but not the whole machine. So in Enagic, everything is produced in one factory, every part. These other guys have got this part, this cartridge from here, and this thing from here, and this thing from here, and so if I'm going to make the Debbie ionizer, the Debbie ionizer is going to be made from, I buy this part from you, I buy this part from you, and I make my Debbie ionizer, right? And I say, yeah, and I got her part certified. So I go, we are certified, but it's not true. You've got one part certified. So Enagic has been proven and has been tested to have the whole machine because it's all from one place, one factory, handcrafted. In other words, there's people that are actually putting it together. Okay, go ahead. Okay, so this was what we're talking about, the ISO 13485, right? Go ahead. Yeah, so this is the range of different machines from Enagic, and what we have is this one.
The middle one.
This one, yeah.
No,
one.
the middle one.
No, I think this is the super.
Oh, that's the super. Okay.
Yeah. So this is, so these are the different machines, and just to explain to you, this particular one, the one that we have for households, the top of the line, the reason it is the top of the line is it has a voltage regulator, because some people want to bring it back to Canada, the US, or to Africa, or to India, where they have sometimes the electricity goes down and voltage has issues. This has an internal electric voltage regulator, which makes it
And
a
it has
little bit more.
and it has an extra plate.
And it has an extra, that's right, thank you. It has 8 plates compared to this one, which has 7 plates.
Yeah,
This one
That's ours.
looks,
that's
this-
ours.
That's ours.
this one looks similar, but it's actually got 2 machines in it. It's for restaurants.
No,
because
that one's ours.
This one. This one is ours.
The super one, the super one is the one next to it.
Okay,
That's a
anyway,
super.
They kind of look better, but what I'm trying to say is they look similar, but it's actually a bigger machine. It's basically 2 machines in one. And the reason is because restaurants, they're going to use a lot more of the 11.5 to wash their veggies and their fruits and all that, and they're going to use a lot more of 2.5 to sanitize their places, right? And each machine comes with sodium chloride, like salt, a solution. The one for the household, it comes with the solution inside the machine that you just have to put the enhancers in it. But for a restaurant, a big business, they just have to put salt. They don't have to buy an enhancer. So on the economies of scale, that would work better for a business, right? Because they're going to use a lot more, all right? And this is you can see the quality. I told you it's a 46-year-old company. We managed to get a picture of a 25-year-old machine that somebody still has, And you can see that meter, remember our meter? It still measures negative 455. So the outside, the plastic has, faded out, but the inside is still producing negative 455 on the ORP meter. It shows you the quality of a 25-year-old machine, right? So if you don't want it to look like that, you can always get that platinum, the platinum one, right? The nice one that would never fade out. So here you are. So everything's really good. So remember, it is preventative health treatment, right? And also it is the only one that actually has gone through the Japanese Association for the Preventative Medicine of Adult Music. That's what what she was talking about. All right. So this was the one with the 6,500 doctors and things. Okay. So you can see what happens with bottled water. You can calculate yourself. You guys are buying bottled water, right? And how much are you paying a month in any case, right? And also here, my household's now all green. I do not need to buy Jif. I do not need to buy Vixol. I do not need to buy bleach. I don't have all these products. I don't need it. Even mouthwash, because I have 2.5. I don't need Listerine. I don't need, Plus, I don't need a moisturizer for me. Even my son uses it. Like, he's got his moisturizing spray, and we all use it, and we bring out sanitizers. We don't have to go and buy these sanitizers. We basically have saved on all that, and we are green, which means my dogs can happily lie on these floors, which previously used to be chemically, we've got chemical cleaners, and they would have fur problems and all this. I don't have any of those issues because it's all natural, right? So yeah, I don't know what's next, but does this play?
Maybe we can stop now, I believe.
Okay.
And we can go do the test.
Anyway, this is all these doctors and what they say about it. Okay. So